Alright guys, we're back today with another Will It Start video. Today we got a John Deere 770A motor grader maintainer. The previous owner said that it ran when it was parked, but it's been sitting for probably 5 or 6 years, I think. They used it to build a resort and just don't need it anymore. It's been sitting a while. As you can see, got a flat tire on it. Actually had several flat tires on it. We got it moved over here to the shop. We're gonna break into it today, see if we can't get this thing fired up and grading again. All right guys, it's raining today, so I'm gonna do the best I can with the camera work, but here it is. John Deere 770A motor grader. Everything seems to be there. We ended up chaining up the blade on it just to get it loaded on the trailer and get it over here. I have not tried to crank on it or anything yet, but we're fixing to do that. Put 2 brand new batteries in it. Didn't have any batteries, so I just finished getting those hooked up. I'm gonna check the oil on it, make sure it's got oil in it, and then we're gonna probably just go ahead and start trying to crank on it. Our dipstick, it's full of oil. It actually looks pretty clean, no water in it, so that's promising. We were missing one of the fuel filters on it, so I went ahead and replaced both of those with the new John Deere box style fuel filters. Alright guys, up inside the cab here now. It is a little bit concerning because this dash panel has been pulled out. The ignition is kind of pulled off out of there, and as you can kind of see, some of these wires look like they got hot, melted a little bit. So hopefully we don't have to rewire the whole thing, but I'm gonna climb down, grab my John Deere key, and just see what happens. Alright guys, here we go. I don't expect it to start up right now because, well, I haven't even checked the fuel or anything on it, but I just always like to kind of bump the key a couple times just to make sure it's not locked up. So here we go. Here's something click. That's always good. Alright, so upon further inspection, found a button over here for ether. When I push that, I'm getting some smoke coming out of the wire, so I'm not going to mess with that, but I saw this other button over here. So, it's not locked up. I'm going to go back there, check for fuel, and see if we can't get this thing fired up. I'm excited. There's actually just about full of diesel. Let's see. I'm down here. Trying to look in here and see if these fuel filters are filling up just from the gravity from the tank. And it doesn't appear like they are right now. Got the valve under the tank opened all the way up. Let's see. Back around here. Sorry for the poor camera work today, but like I said, it's raining. Just trying to do what I can. Alright, so I do have some fuel coming out back here. Let's check this. Yeah, we got some fuel there. Okay, so I can see now, definitely got some diesel starting to fill up here in the filters. So we're just gonna climb up in there now that I got the fuel turned on, coming through. I'm just gonna crank on it for a second and see if we can't get this thing to fire off. Alright guys, so here's where we're at. I cracked the fuel lines up there at the injectors and I'm not getting anything coming out, so I basically am just working my way from the tank. I now have, you can see the fuel line, these fuel filters are full, and then I cracked the inlet that goes to the fuel pump, and you can see it dripping out right now. Just the gravity pressure from the tank is pushing the fuel to here, but when I did crack this valve loose, there was a lot of bubbles and looked like air coming out, so I think partially why I wasn't getting fluid up there is just because there was air in the lines. You can see it still bubbling out a little bit, and to be honest, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but those drops coming out look very clear to me. It does smell like diesel, and it's, you know, kind of oily, but I do think it potentially could add a little bit of water sitting there in the bottom of the fuel tank from condensation and whatnot. But anyways, I'm just gonna let that kind of drip for a second, make sure we get all the air worked out, and then hopefully we'll start getting some fuel pumping out up at the injectors whenever we crank this thing over. Alright guys, so as you can see, we finally got some fuel spitting out of here. Not as much as we need to get it started, but we are starting to get the air out. The trick on these is just kind of keep working your way through. Make sure you got fuel. The tank is back here up higher, so it feeds through the hose. Gravity will get it down to your fuel filters. Just using this primer bulb, loosening it up here at the back of the pump. This is where the fuel, the diesel, comes into the pump, and then it pumps it back out of these lines to the injectors. And so basically we just got to keep working the air through the system. So we got it out here, then we started to get the air purged out here. Now we're up here at the injectors. You can see I still had that one loose, so we're starting to get a little bit of diesel seeping out of there, but we need to get the air purged out of all 6 cylinders. So we're just going to keep working our way through there, cranking on it, and just letting the pump, when we're turning over the engine, it's turning over the pump, which is pumping the fuel to those injectors. So we're just going to keep cranking on it and keep purging that air out. Alright guys, a little update. Been just kind of working them around, cranking, breaking stuff loose, tightening it back down. I've got these front 3 injectors have fuel to them, but I got 3 more back here behind the air cleaner, so I'm gonna see if I can't get to them, but I just about got all the air worked out of this system and ready to get this thing fired off. Alright guys, so I think I finally got most of the air bled out. I ended up taking off the air filter to get to those last 2 injectors back there, but I've broken them all loose. I got diesel coming out at all the injector inlets or whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and start tightening those back down and see if we can't get this thing to fire off. Alright guys, it's day 2 out here working on the John Deere 770 motor grader. I ran out of time yesterday trying to get this thing started, so we're going to jump right back where we were, trying to get all the air bled out of the fuel lines up by the injectors. So I'm going to crack those loose again, start cranking on it, make sure we got all that air out of the lines. Alright guys, so I was cranking on it again and it just doesn't seem like it's getting enough fuel coming out at the injectors. So what I did is I set my camera up at the just videoing the fuel pump so I could see, because whenever I was adjusting the throttle lever inside the cab of the machine, it wasn't adjusting the throttle on the fuel pump. And these Rusa Master fuel pumps like this, basically how you kill the motor is you pull the idle all the way back and it shuts the fuel off and kills the motor. So I was just adjusting the throttle inside the cab and it's not making any adjustments here on the machine. So as you can see right here, I'll show you guys. Alright, so I got the throttle lever inside the cab pushed all the way up. This should be raised up more than that. And you can see I was able to just slide it right up to full throttle. It won't go back down because basically the lever inside the machine is pushed forward and it's got resistance on it now. But I'm willing to bet that that was what our issue is why this thing hasn't been pumping out enough fuel. So I'm going to set my camera back up on the injectors and see if we don't get more fuel pumping out of there now. Well guys, there you have it. The old John Deere 770 still runs. We got it fired up. Sounds really good. No smoke coming out of it. Real strong sounding motor on it. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel because the next video we're going to see if this thing operates and everything like it should. So you guys stay tuned for that. Thanks.